So the wheels are definitely falling off the bus, and this is Susie Wiles, Donald Trump's chief of staff. She just gave a wild interview in Vanity Fair, basically exposing how dysfunctional they all are. Check out this summary here. This says, so just to recap, Susie Wiles called Trump an alcoholic abuser, J.D. Vance a conspiracy theorist, Elon Musk an addict, and Pam Bondi a dumb blonde. Did I miss anything? Here's a more formal description of, again, the interview, actually a series of interviews, I should say, 11 of them that Susie Wiles gave about the Trump people. Mr. Trump has a, quote, has an alcoholic's personality. J.D. Vance has been, quote, a conspiracy theorist for a decade, okay, and his conversion from Trump critic to ally was based not on principle, but was, quote, sort of political because he was running for Senate. Elon Musk is, quote, an avowed ketamine user and an odd duck. And she also went on to describe Musk as sleeping in a sleeping bag in the office and all sorts of crazy things. She also says here, whose actions were not always rational and left her, quote, aghast. Russell T. Vought, so that is the Project 2025 guy. The budget director is a, quote, right-wing zealot. And then you have Attorney General Pam Bondi, quote, completely whiffed in handling of the Epstein files. So basically, again, this is Trump's chief of staff. I always refer to her as being like the babysitter because there's all these essentially children running around the White House. And she has to whip people into shape. This is how she describes it. It's a madhouse. And I think everyone there in Trump administration is now trying to figure out their exit plan so they can have their book deal or TV deal, right? Some want to go on Fox News, some want to get speaking engagements, write books, and you can all see this. And so this is what happens towards the end. There's another one. There's so many weird quotes with this one. This is, I guess, from J.D. Vance. Vance was telling everyone, I'll give you $100 for every person you make look really crappy compared to me, and $1,000 if it's Marco. Okay, I guess that's when they were doing their photo op. They did take a nice photo. You can see this right here. And if you're a Trump fan, you think, oh yeah, look how great this team is. And according to Eric Dowdy, he's one of the Trump propagandist people, he's like, oh, it's an all-star team. What else can you say? Anthony Scaramucci, right? So this is one of the former Trump people. The Trump era is ending. When top advisors feel emboldened to speak so candidly, something's up. And I think the reaction to Rob Reiner, by all accounts a decent person with a troubled child from both the right and the left, is more than a surface crack. And I told you about this stuff before. I mean, you already know Trump's wild and crazy and insane, bonkers, dementia, whatever word you want to use. And it's like, how far is too far and when is enough? Maybe the Rob Reiner thing is, and if you don't know, Trump made some basically just mean tweet, but it's just Trump's been doing that stuff for years. It's not unusual for Trump, but maybe this is the time when MAGA's like, you know what, I'm just not going to tolerate it anymore. And, you know, put that together with the economy. I think things look bad for the Trump people. Now, some Trump people still defend it, and I'll just show you because I like to show you more than one side. This is from Corey Lewandowski says, I know for a fact this story is trash. Susie's an incredibly gifted person who serves the POTUS with honor and distinction. Shameful what the media does to good people. Fight on, Chief. Okay. Howard Lutnick said, Susie is a historic chief of staff. She deeply understands the president, right? Public trust in mainstream media is at an all-time low, and for good reason. They are untrustworthy and dishonest. And that's coming from Howard Lutnick. So it's funny because, you know, when in doubt for these kind of people, you know, don't believe your eyes, right? Don't believe what you hear, these kind of things. And I'll just say this all the time. Let's just see what regular people on the ground say. That's what the Trump people are. You guys kind of know who they are. But what are regular people saying? Have a listen to this.
I feel like everything is going up and pay rates are not going up. Like right now, affordability, I work 2 jobs. I'm working FedEx and I'm working on the side for UPS, and it's still not enough for my rent.
I would say probably about the same. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's been much changes, but these things take a long time. Like it's not, you know, much change within a matter of days.
I go to the stores, I go to all the grocery stores, and everything is like higher than expected.
They asked 3 people, like, what do you think? Like, how are things going? one person says things are going up, another person said, about the same, maybe it'll take longer, whatever, and someone else is like higher than expected. Everyone's gonna have a different experience depending on, where you are, what your job is, what you're hearing, who your circle of friends are. And I always just tell you the same thing. You know your own experience. And yeah, it's fun to gossip about who's crazy in the White House or whatever, but I always try to keep it focused with you about just real people on the ground and never lose sight of that, because this is, what people are facing. This is also Hegseth. He's going to try to mask all the corruption that they're doing and effectively more and more attacks. We just destroyed 3 more boats in the Pacific is what I'd heard. And then I guess we're not releasing tapes. Listen to what Hegseth has to say about this.
Also going to tomorrow allow the HASC and SASC to see the unedited video of the September 2nd, alongside with Admiral Bradley, who has done a fantastic job, has made all the right calls, and we're glad he'll be there to do it. But in keeping with long-standing Department of War policy, Department of Defense policy, of course we're not going to release a top secret full unedited video of that to the general public. HASC and SASC and appropriate committees will see it, but not the general public.
And I think that scene right there is what I'm showing you is I think you're going to see this kind of stuff over and over from the Trump people, right? They'll give them some cockamamie reason of why they're not sharing information, or they give some cockamamie reason of why, the press is all lying, everything you hear in the news is false, right, whatever, and then they run away. And I think for like this kind of stuff, seeing, Marco Rubio's face, it just tells the story, right? There's things they say in the public, and there's things that go on behind the scenes, and the stuff that we got from Susie Wiles today is just more behind the scenes, which you already kind of know. I made guesses on this before, like I bet you there's factions forming, and some of these people are going to like, some more than others. The same with work. You like some people you work with at your job, and you don't like some other people. I don't know if necessarily you hate each other. As you remember, Elon Musk had a black eye, showed up one day. Could have been Scott Bessent, could have been someone else, who knows? But this is who they are. And that's sort of why things don't improve. And that's why I showed you the regular workers, because from many regular workers' point of view, they don't follow the stuff as much as you do. You're watching my channel, so you care deeply about this kind of stuff. But a lot of people, they have to work 2-3 jobs, so they just don't have time to follow. And it's frustrating because the Trump White House, they don't care about regular people at all. You can see it in their policies, you see it in the rhetoric, and you see it when they run away, as you can see, as I just showed you. Listen to some what regular people have to say about what's going on.
Our insurance premium is set to triple or more than triple in the new year, and it's not affordable. Who has an extra $1,500 to just spend? And again, that's just the premium. It's also a $15,000 deductible. So it doesn't even kick in until we reach $15,000.
That's more than a mortgage payment. How are you supposed to afford health care? Fortunately, we are healthy. We do take good care of ourselves. But anything could happen at any time. And you just have to figure out how to deal with that. Unfortunately for us, we're choosing to not have health care.
And, for me, that's the part that's most sad, is people in USA, they just accept having a lower quality of life. It's just basically what it boils down to. And, a lot of people, a big medical event happens, right? It could be any number of things, or it could be a family member. I mean, it can put you underwater for years, as you guys know. And it's ridiculous for people like Trump or Musk to claim how rich everyone is, et cetera. But it's on the backs of just regular Americans. I never want to lose sight of how things are going for regular people. And I still find it strange, though, how, I know social media in the Trump world, they always celebrate like winning with the ballroom, or wow, great, we're, starting more foreign wars. It's bizarre. And it makes more sense, though, when you understand when Wiles describes them all. I mean, basically, they're all greedy individuals, incompetent. I've said that many times. So, again, I'm not necessarily surprised at what's said or who these people are. I think it's more a combination of, okay, the Rob Reiner comments plus the Wiles thing, right? Plus people's job and economic situation is no good. It's just unsustainable, the Donald Trump stuff. And we're looking probably towards the end of it, right? This one was interesting. This person writes, nearly every member of the Trump administration has now issued a defense of Susie Wiles, again, the chief of staff, after her scathing remarks to Vanity Fair and what appears to be a coordinated PR messaging campaign. So these are all the Trump people saying how much they love Susie. Of course they are. But listen to this. This is Senator Patty Murray, and she's talking about Trump's economy. Have a listen.
I mean, how many Americans are actually going to get to retire when everything in their lives is much more expensive? So we can't talk about retirement without talking about how President Trump is driving up those costs and the uncertainty so many seniors are seeing across the board. I don't think we can talk about retirement without talking about the healthcare crisis that is now causing premiums to skyrocket for families who rely on the ACA premium tax credits. And I think we also need to talk about the other elephant is that Trump took an axe to the Social Security Administration this year. He cut 7,000 staffers, which makes it really hard for seniors who need help accessing the Social Security that they've earned. Instead of focusing on pushing legislation that will help seniors afford those basic necessities, food, electricity, instead of fixing the mess he caused with those SIA cuts or the chaos that is now being caused by the tariffs, Trump's top priority was to cut taxes for billionaires.
And I wanted you to see that, and as we go through this stuff, just to know that you're not alone. Other people can see what's going on, and other people care, right? And I think there's a portion of the population that is so under pressure economically, so busy at work. It's not that they don't care necessarily, it's just that they don't have the time. And so this is why it's important to, how can I say, like, reach out to those kind of people and just, you know, build bridges, not burn bridges. I guess that's the way to say it. Because I wish our political leadership, and this would be for either party, would you know, spend more time doing that, just talking like regular people. I find it so bizarre how in this current media environment, and I told you guys before in the last video, this is filled with anger-tainment, right? The average, and also, I'll just tell you the truth. Sometimes people don't like to hear it, but I'll just tell you the truth. Like, so for some people, it's really fun to watch, go to YouTube and just watch people scream and yell, because people are such under economic, you know, pressure. They want to hear more yelling and say, oh, I'm yelling and I want to hear you yelling too. But that's not sustainable either. And sometimes people ask me, you know, what's the way forward? And I always just tell you the same thing, guys. You know, education, that's one. Building up our public infrastructures, investing in our people, all of these things. You know, having enough people on the ground and listening to them that actually want to address real problems is a good thing. If you look at Trump, it's like it's obvious that he doesn't know anything about regular people's lives. You know, his world is building hotels and casinos that go bust. It's ludicrous, you know, and I know maybe sometimes we sound like a broken record, but it's important to talk about these things, because sometimes people say in the comments, they'll say, Chris, I live in a red state, or I live in a red district, and I have no one to talk to about these things. And I feel like, you know, everyone around me is going bonkers or crazy, and that's sort of why it's good to hang out in the community, so you don't feel alone. And it's a lot of economic stress and also just personal stress you feel when you're surrounded by these kind of things. Robert Reich says, energy bills have increased 13% since Trump took office. Families have paid an extra $1,200 on goods this year because of this tariffs. Popular holiday gifts are 26% more expensive this year compared to 2024. Remember this as Trump calls affordability a, quote, hoax and a con job. You also have Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. I think she's running for Senate in Texas. If you're telling Head Start programs that they can't say disability, black, female, or tribal in order to get funded, you don't care about kids, period. This administration is attacking the very protections that keep children safe and supported. Our kids are not political props. They deserve better. And this is for any of the policies out there. If we can just find ways to care about the other 99%, not just the top 1% who Donald Trump cares about the most. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about this Susie Wiles thing. I had to address it because, yes, it's in the news, and I'm sure it'll be the focus for the next week or month or whatever. I guess there are tapes out on the Susie Wiles thing. It says, Susie Wiles, I never said that, Vanity Fair. This is on you. This is you on tape saying exactly that. So, you know, when you do these kind of interviews, yeah, major publications will have records on this. Do I care? Do I need to hear the tapes of Susie Wiles? No, I don't. I already know this stuff anyway. As you know, we get more details like exact quotes, but something shocking. The most important thing that we need to be focused on, though, is how can we make lives better for just regular people. So that's my thoughts on this. I'd like to hear yours, and I'll catch you all in the next video.